They say at WhatCulture, everyone's got a gimmick. An eel, a drink, a podcast that can be controlled. But the great ones, they use it to their advantage. They own it. They've got them right where they want them. The rest just haven't figured it out yet.
See, guys, anything's possible in the pyramid.
So, Uno!
Wait, are we not playing poker?
Well, this didn't work. Do you go back to Vegas?
Yeah?
Okay.
Welcome back to fabulous WhatCulture Mania Las Vegas. 4 nights, free entry. You'll be getting WrestleMania ups and downs live in the Luxor Hotel and Casino, and start spreading the news because we're bringing Raw and SmackDown watch parties to New York, New York. Plus, there will be even more huge announcements coming soon, so sign up and be the first to know.
Yes, anything really is possible in the pyramid.
Hello and welcome to Question and Answer Time. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to answer all of your burning wrestling questions. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, yeah? On Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Dynamite, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable wrestling discussions. We answer your questions in question and answer time. And we host a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz of chaos on WrestleCulture. Hamflett, how we doing?
I'm all right. I haven't seen the questions today, so I'm asking you a question before we get to the questions.
Okay.
With a view of having something to get this, the browed out portion of a Daily Discourse Q&A.
Yeah.
Is there anything in here
Probably.
that will allow for like an out-of-pocket, unrelated Triple H burial, or would you like one right now?
I'd like one right now.
So I was watching...
Speaking of Triple H burial, that brought into mind a certain wrestler. I need to show you something when this is done.
Okay.
It's available on Twitter. I might post a link under the podcast link if I remember.
So I was watching...
Remind me.
Okay. The post-SummerSlam 1997 edition of Monday Night Raw, as is my wont. And it was the episode where the newly hired Commissioner Slaughter, in an effort to get back at Shawn Michaels, who has already needled him, has forced him to team with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, not because they're friends, but because they're wrestling fellow prior rivals, The Undertaker and Mankind.
Yes.
And it's almost this like strange bedfellows deal, but in actuality, it was hiding some phenomenal booking. They were about to launch D-Generation X. It was solidifying Mankind's babyface turn. It's like, Mankind and The Undertaker are teaming together now after all they've been through. But Mankind was feuding with Triple H and Shawn was feuding with The Undertaker. It was perfect, laid out so perfectly. And then in the end of the match, you see Shawn and Triple H show quite good chemistry, sort of surprisingly so. And then within a week after that, they're sort of a bit more together on screen, and that sets them off on their path. And they found an organic way to bring Triple H into Shawn's orbit on camera when a lot of people already know that's what's been going on behind the scenes for a while.
Yeah.
But in the build-up to the match, everyone's pissed off. The Undertaker's like, I don't trust Mankind, I never will. Like, if he tries anything, I'll kill him. Mankind's like, in the boiler room, well, maybe I'm the best partner you've ever had, Undertaker. Good luck. And Triple H and Shawn are separately. Nice one, Slaughter. You're getting in my face, all this. Triple H cuts a promo. This is late August, early September, 1997. 1997, the greatest of all years. And in that promo, he's like down the lens to Vince McMahon on commentary. Going like, you see this, McMahon? Same old, same old. Like, Shawn does the crime, I do the time. Again, is it? And then carries back on. And you know that's just for like... a couple of smart
for me.
One from me, one for the smart marks. A few of them will get it. Maybe the people at the back won't. That whole deal, right? He's got that line, and then he gets back on with the thing. And I sat with that for a second. I didn't remember that line. It's a little cutesy one in, right? It occurred to me that 12 months earlier from that promo, he was still serving his punishment. And in the time, over that 12 months, he has Let me get the list out. Won the Intercontinental title. Worked all bar 2 pay-per-views, including Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. Is involved in this match, the main event of Monday Night Raw, because it's involved in one of the biggest programs of WWE Summit Against Mankind. And what's this match for again? Oh yeah, it's to formalise his ascension to the main event alongside Shawn Michaels, a chance that he would have never got in a million years had he not been his bag carrier, so they can launch D-Generation X. And out of nowhere, 1 week, he's the blue blood. We're China now, so she's over.
Yeah.
To being like a guy that just talks about his knob non-stop and is allowed to do funny skits with Shawn Michaels and do some funny bits himself if he tries hard.
Sometimes he was quite funny.
He was. Like, even in that promo at that exact moment, I'll do the time for Shawn's crime, shall I? Like, what time?
I know.
Shawn commits crimes, you have good times.
Yes.
It gets better for you. Like, he commits the biggest crime of all, of like screwing up so much and messing his back up and all sorts that he has to leave. And what time do you do for that? Oh, you just get the biggest opportunity your whole frigging career.
What really annoys me about that, and what really annoys me when you read Bret's autobiography again, basically what I was alluding to at the start of the podcast, people are starting to clip the audio on Twitter, so you might want to...
Is that out?
So you might want to, like...
I need to get on Spotify right stinking now and see if it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Indeed. There are some clips I'll get you to wet your whistle, so to speak.
The Hitman version of the Prince Harry book getting clipped.
My ultimate thing with Triple H is a total dyed-in-the-wool sociopath of, I'm right, a narcissist of... and I can understand being pissed off if you're a wrestler and you're really gathering some momentum, and then, you know, something happens, and, you know, you don't think it's a big deal, and neither does Vince, really. And then you get slid down the card. Neither of those things happened. He had no momentum, really. He was never over.
No.
Did China exist then? No. 1996, of course not. So he was definitely not over. He wasn't even over by proxy. And was it 3 months or 4 from to win the Intercontinental title, removed from the curtain call?
He won it in October, and the curtain call was made.
So it's a bit like June, July, August.
Four months of featuring regularly on TV.
Yes.
As well. That's the other thing.
It's just, it's incredible to me. Where it's like, I got a chip on my shoulder.
Triple H himself just forgets to book acts for 4 months now.
Yeah, I know.
Are the Motor City Machine Guns serving a punishment for like a burial term of 4 months? Are the Street Profits being punished for somebody celebrating?
Neither of those things make sense to me. Like, he's literally entirely wrong. And like, it's Cactus Jack and it's Mick Foley, so you can never tell how over he is during and after the MSG Falls Count Anywhere. But DX is over. He's getting pops. He's getting there. He's still, like, if you watch him on telly, he's not really getting many reactions in the ring.
No.
But that's kind of a 1997. Oh, this match is going a bit long thing anyway.
Yeah.
But, like, well before, he's trying to oust Bret Hart when he himself is not over. It's like, whoa. What?
How did he get in the room so often?
And,
like, especially after Shawn's left. Maybe I'll just hang out and creative. Like, how? Who invited him?
The things that the most cynical people say, if you use Occam's razor, they've got to be true. Like, the most sycophantic, laughing at everyone's jokes, dead hard, getting in there. It's like a smaller company, smaller roster. It's easier. Like, it's completely removed from the one we've seen most recently when you see, like, I don't know, Unreal or like Liv Morgan and people afraid to rap on Vince's door. Like, he hadn't gone power mad with a monopoly.
The whole point was that you got in the queue at TV.
Yeah.
To get your audience with Vince every week at TV.
So it was easier for him to do. But
like Briscoe and Patterson and a few others sat in Vince's office, and then Triple H becomes a guy that sits in the office rather than being in the queue.
This guy?
Yeah, with his backward Kangol hat. Like, how's he in here?
How's he in here?
Like Billy Gunn and Road Dogg knocking on about some of their creative, and Hunter's already in the room.
And it's just, I've always found it baffling. Like, he's always talked a good game. Like, he's just one of those who, like, if you're like this kind of personality, like, you can learn people's language and just speak to them in it and manipulate scenarios to your advantage. And That's him down to a T. I mean, it must be. It's not the talent, and it's not the patter. To be fair, a bit of it is the patter.
He was of the time.
He had not patter. He knew what patter Vince liked.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we get to some questions?
Let's do it. Yeah.
As opposed to, how did Triple H get over, and how much better would my life be if he never stepped foot in a wrestling ring?
Just booked from the off. Is that what we're saying?
It's what if like he just didn't exist?
Oh, just
It would be
face-
so
not just an ideas guy. Just face the planet stuff.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just total annihilation. Obviously, like no, I don't want him to like live and then get annihilated. Just like never been born.
Levesque chose baseball. You know, he nearly got into professional wrestling.
Yes,
But he decided to be a pitch hitter or whatever that is.
I don't know what that is.
No.
I'm not just going on my phone idly here. I'm bringing up the likes so I
There
can get
is. Check this out, right?
to the
I was-
questions.
Had a bit of the Winter Olympics on last night. There is a Winter Olympics ice hockey commentator, and I heard his voice. I was like, God, he sounds like Wade Barrett. And it's like Wade Barrett's got quite a good sports commentator voice, especially for somebody with an English accent. For more English accent, Pat, check out the Dynamite review from this week.
Yes.
The ice hockey commentator had this voice, and I was like, ah. And then the name came up at the bottom, and it was Seth Bennett. So I did a bit of Googling. No relation from what I can find, but I'm thinking, like, they've got to be cousins. I will play you later on. If you've listened to it already, the ice hockey commentator from the Winter Olympics, he's got Wade's, like, everything about his voice, his accent, his pronunciation, when he kind of, like, puts in a bit more of the effort, you know, Joe? And then when he drops his, like generic British accent, you hear a little bit of the Preston, Lancashire coming out. He's got those little inflections and all that stuff as well. I
But
think
they're not brothers.
No, I think they might be like, they must be family. They must be related. Like, same surname, same voice. Come on.
I mean, but it's not as if it's called like, you know, Kevorkian.
No trick.
Bennett's quite.
You've been watching the Cactus Jack, bro.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know what my mind does anymore.
I think, like, he goes like Dr. Kevorkian's favorite wrestler, but like that's a reference that, like, we'd have been watching at home on those old like tapes or the documentary. Great reference, and then hoping nobody asked us who Dr. Kevorkian was.
Yeah. So the first question comes from Just Mike 2001. It reminds me of like everything was like 2000.
Yeah,
back in the old day. And here's the thing. Good question. People want to know about it. This dude is hot. I've got such a basic ass answer, but here's the question. How quickly, this is from Just Make, how quickly would you move Trick to the main event scene? He looks on fire at the moment. Totally agree. Would it be a big risk to have him in the world title match at Mania, as it might actually make it a bit more interesting? Here's why. This is why I'm an analyst and not a booker. First of all, I would not want to be involved in the wrestling business in any way, shape, or form.
No.
If for whatever reason, like they Will Washington me and said, "Do you want to do it?" I'd say no. Like, if as long as I've got this, of course, absolutely not. I'm way better as an analyst. Every time I try and fantasy book, like the idea of plotting it week from week, I don't know. In my, like we said this on the NXT review, everyone, to a degree, everyone's fantasy booking idea is Fully Loaded 2000, right? And just in case you're not aware, WWE, obviously known as WWF at the time. I don't want to teach you Gran how to suck eggs, but I always forget there are people, like young people, listen to us sometimes. They might not get.
The references skew 30, 40 years of content at this point as well.
This is it.
You could drop something from 2015 or 2016 and it'd just be like, oh, I'd long switched off by then.
Yeah.
I hated everybody. I was waiting for AEW to launch, or I was waiting for a second boom or something. You know, you never
there
know.
are certain people who just got into it later.
John Cena kids. Like, there's loads, yeah.
So in Fully Loaded 2000, better on paper than on the actual card itself. The theme of the night was the established WWF main eventers are going to wrestle. Well, three of them anyway. Austin was still out. The big three out of what was then the big four, it's fair to say, I think, are going to wrestle upper mid-carders in matches that if they don't win, they should get elevated in defeat. Someone should have told The Undertaker this because he cheated. Kurt Angle looked like a total J-bro. The Undertaker is most miserable. I don't fit in here no more. Defensive, like prick. Yeah. But anyway, so it is main eventers versus upper mid-carders who the aspirational smart guy fans at the time, like me and Hamflett basically, were like, they should be headlining if anything.
Yep.
But he's sick of these lot that make money. I was sick of The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. But it was like, well, all three of these win, and then that puts these three fossils out to pasture.
Yes.
They've all been at the top of the card for like about 18 months, if that.
And they're all in their 20s, late
yeah,
20s.
yeah.
Undertaker.
Dead Man was like completely reborn. As, like, he was 2 months into the American Badass.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
so it was like, time to get rid of that, I think.
there was just that it's always existed in the wrestling fans.
Triple H was never going to be better in his life. Rock was peaking as an all-rounder.
Yeah.
Like, get them out of the way.
Get them out of the way.
Extinct.
Get them out of the way. So it was Triple H versus Chris Jericho, The Rock versus Chris Benoit, and The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle in this theme of like, potential elevation. Like, you get greedy. Like, oh my God, there's loads of stars in the Attitude Era at more.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really work out. The people who did get over, they did it belatedly and at a way lower level. But anyway, people love this, and for whatever reason, it's just taken hold as the fantasy booking idea. So when I always try and be mindful when I think back of the Fully Loaded thing, and indeed when I've thought back to like episodes of Dynamite where it's like, this is a great tactic for a TV match. You put an established headliner like Jon Moxley against anyone, and they go back and forth, and they look like they're on Jon Moxley's level. It hasn't really worked like that, and it doesn't really work like that. So the temptation would be, well, if you just push him, he will get over. And I just resist the idea that it's that easy, and yet
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, and Trick Williams instantly feels like a big deal. We said on one of the pods this week, like, is he in danger of doing what The Rock did to Billy Gunn a year before Fully Loaded 2000 and just made him not into a laughing stock? I don't think Sami Zayn could be a laughing stock, but my God, he's not that interesting at all. Like, Billy Gunn had a horrible time of it. It's pretty funny. The Rock killed him with one of the funniest burials of all time.
Yeah.
And then the WWF had the asinine, stupid decision to debut Chris Jericho. And even though the debut didn't go that well people think it did, it didn't really at the time.
The promo wasn't great.
The promo wasn't great. The rollout was unbelievable, and it was so good that it's remembered well going backwards, right? I promise this will go back to Trick Williams shortly. But like, the follow-up promo wasn't good. But still, Chris Jericho was really exciting. Really exciting because those 1999 undercards that Chris Jericho, like by his own statements, was there to save were agony. You wanted great matches, and Chris Jericho, you thought you'd get great matches out of him. They debuted Chris Jericho slap bang in the middle of Rock versus Mr. Ass on the way to SummerSlam, and I'm thinking, why? The Rock versus Jericho so much better and bigger than I was just baffled. I thought, oh God, Billy Gunn's out the way then.
Yeah.
No. So Sami Zayn isn't getting treated like that, but my God, he feels like an over earnest guy who's had his time in the main event and are orbiting it in Paul Levesque's WWE, because next to him, this Trick Williams is just so exciting. We've been obviously following him on NXT for ages. And the big question mark was, he can't really work, though, unless he's in there with Ilya Dragunov. Unbelievably charismatic. The most purely charismatic guy to step foot in the pro wrestling industry since MJF.
Yeah.
Just that, like, you literally can't teach it. You are an unbelievable, you are what they talk about when they talk about the it factor. I mean, the match quality thing we live in Jey Uso's world, and we're just living in it, and we have to eat in it, apparently. And it has reached a point when even WWE have gone, no, go back to tags. We're not doing this really anymore. I mean, I still think they'll give Jey Uso a PLE main event at some point this year or next. He's got the, got the cachet. I don't think they're going to give him a world title run or anything. But what I mean by that is it doesn't really matter. Like in WWE, there's a level. Like, you're not getting the Cody belt. Like Jey Uso was never getting the Cody belt. Trick could go for that world heavyweight now. I mean, different shows, different titles, and all the rest of it. But
status-wise, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon he could do that status-wise. Would I do it just now? I don't know. I don't like the idea. If this is me and WWE was my thing, and I'm running it for whatever reason. Like, my problem with this mooted Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre triple threat, which, it's rumored, maybe it's just wish casting or whatever, and I've described it. It's such like a fully loaded ass, unforgiving ass main event where it's like, these three, it's not WrestleMania.
I agree.
So adding Trick to that just feels a bit desperate. And honestly, from an optics point of view, they're not doing a very good job of following this advice, but WrestleMania is the last time you want to feel desperate or want to come off as desperate. Like, we laugh in the office at times of the Ciampa, Gargano, Ricochet, Aleister Black. They're going to debut and shake things up in February. You'll shake things up in February, dickhead. February is meant to be the time when the people who are around the most or when you care about them the most. That was a terrible look in 2019. Terrible. So I don't know. I feel like I would have anything at this point that isn't Drew Cody. We're going to get to that specifically in a bit, just for something different. But if I was in WWE shoes, I would stay the course and make a plan for after Mania, because Roman Punk's probably big enough, and when Roman returns again, like, you'll get more promo magic out of them. It's a bad time for them to be feeling desperate Mania season. So I'd resist the urge, but at the same time, I'd put him on a quest for the Seth belt this year. Like, you need a main eventer. He's probably as good as Jey Uso. Like, certainly more athletic. I mean, I wouldn't piss around with Trick Williams as well, because he's not actually that young.
No.
I know he started a bit late and he's only been on the scene in NXT since 2021, but he ain't actually that young.
It's funny, right? When you mention the fully loaded 2001, there's enough precedent now where we know there are some right answers to a question like this, hard as they are to get spot on. But we also know there are a ton more wrong ones. Like, there are so many more ways to screw up where at with Trick Williams and to actually make him a star. It's quite I'm with you to the point. It's quite a delicate procedure. And yet, it's just as easy to pull an example out of being like, no, like, you Bob Holly that bitch and it works.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar in 2002. Green as greyish.
Green as grey.
But could do, like, 4 things so incredibly well. And was, like, made credible by Paul Heyman and a couple of statement wins.
They didn't do it, but they could have with Braun.
Yeah, they were this close to doing that with Braun Strowman, and that's like
And
way
they could
more.
have.
And they could have, yeah. That was 2016 into 2017. He got a definitive feud win over Roman Reigns. He beat Roman Reigns more than he lost to him when nobody else was doing that.
Yeah.
So there has been times, Ryback, when he could draw. Ryback's series of victories that led to him drawing against CM Punk before that, all-important defeat and how that diminished him and whatnot.
Didn't win the title in the first run, but like Sid came in, just headlines Mania.
There is a way to just have somebody win and win and win, and fans immediately don't want to be left out from supporting them. I think with Trick, the only thing working against him, like, honestly, right, if we were having this conversation and WrestleMania was set in stone and everything had been perfectly booked and you felt good about the titles and stuff, I'd say SummerSlam would become this, like, open goal. Well, WrestleMania isn't right now, but you cannot cool this guy down. So by SummerSlam, he's beating whoever the champion is. Yeah. But the question has come up because there's maybe this is in the bubble, but it does feel like we talk about in the podcast every week, and I'm not really seeing what the discussion is on X anymore, so I'm guessing. But it does feel like there is a quiet sense of him when it comes to Drew McIntyre in the WWE title picture at WrestleMania. Like,
it's not quiet.
Well, and then by the time you watch this or listen to this, Trick Williams may or may not have qualified for the Elimination Chamber. He's going to be one of the biggest baby faces in that Elimination Chamber. And my gut feeling is he makes it to the final 2 and loses.
Yeah.
Fine, because it's as good as getting in the final 2 of the Rumble, isn't it? And he's been on the main roster 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's the first time he's going to get pinned. And it is, like, extremely delicate after that. Like, I would probably have Sami Zayn in a bit of an act of, like, I don't know, stubbornness, defiance, whatever you want to call it. A bit of a tantrum. Like, sneak in the cell and haluva kick him or something. Like, there's a reason.
Would you turn Sami heel as a separate point?
I don't know, but the longer they're together, the more there's no choice. Sami was getting booed in the triple threat with Jacob and Cody as a runoff of the fact that Trick Williams is owning him on screen, and Sammy's currently the biggest loser on the like.
If they do
not to
that
be horrible.
singles match at Mania and they just sort of insist upon Trick's the heel, it would be nightmarish.
I already don't sense the company worrying too much about his heel thing as well. They gave him that proper traditional WWE rubski where it's like 4 segments, kid. Like, do a backstage promo before your match, do an in-ring promo, have your match, win your match, go and get in the champion's face. Like, that's 1 episode of TV.
Yeah.
That always means we're like, we're going to speed run a bit of testing.
Yeah.
You know? Am I trying to talk myself into thinking you could put him in the title picture?
He's just so charismatic, dude.
A 4-way might be the option. Like, if he goes in and he becomes the sentimental favourite, even more so than Cody Rhodes, but isn't involved in the finish, I think I could make an argument for that.
Yeah.
I could make a compelling argument for Trick Williams simply talking his lemon pepper steppers into the match, and then, I don't know, Jacob or Cody pinning Drew.
Yeah.
And becoming champion, and Trick's there like, I'm already this close. I'll have you as the next time I've got you in a singles. It feels like the babyface turn is like a next SmackDown away.
Yeah.
Why would you steer away from people that are just in love with this? As well, the Jey Uso thing, just quickly on that. I'll always say this, like, Triple H, I know, does nothing. And that pisses people off. He ran with Damian Priest and it failed, and he demoted him. He ran with Jey Uso and it failed, and he demoted him. I would argue he does a better job of that to this day than probably like Tony Khan is willing to. People get runs with like the top titles or the Seth belt, but the idea of a top title, and they fail, and it's like, all right, it was worth a go, back you go. Yeah. Like, Trick Williams looks better set than both of them to be that next one to try, you know?
The only problem with Triple H'ing it and taking ages with Trick is like, this guy feels ready to take over the world. Like, it's not just his brilliant trash talk or just how much of a story comes off. Like, these days and weeks are kind of crucial. If you feel like you're this ready and then you lose a bit and then just become part of the fixture and then still try and talk the talk, it might not be quite as convincing. So I wouldn't do it at Mania personally, but I would do it this year. Like, why the hell not? He's not going to get that much better, realistically, in the ring. We've been here before with him, and the schedule won't allow for him to just nail it night after night, and he ain't actually that young either. Right, the next one comes from Brian George. What? I don't know what's happened. Why do you suppose they haven't had Royce Keys on TV since the Rumble? Do you think there's a chance they wait until after WrestleMania? Hamflett, you won't like this, and I hate myself when I hear myself say it as well, right? But WWE is a moment's pilled company. It just feels like they felt like they needed something big, different. They want several headlines from the Royal Rumble. They want to dominate everything. Having Royce Keys debut there was just a good way to generate some headlines, interest, and what have you. If there was a follow-up, they've ballsed it. Obviously, they alluded to the fact that Damian Priest wasn't happy about the elimination, and they could have ran Priest versus Keys on the back of that. That feels like it's been dropped entirely. It's not, again, it's not a good look. Like, WWE, I know you think the booking's been a bit better, and in certain cases it has. Basically, you're a Punk guy. This year's been a Punk year.
Yeah.
Everything they've done with CM Punk has been pretty goddamn strong in his performance level, especially compared to that pre-match interview before the Breaker match. Remember that?
Yep.
It's been great. Pretty much anything after the Braun Breaker match, CM Punk's been great. So if you're a Punk guy and a Fed guy, you're probably happy. It's not a great deal else that's been amazing, Mania-sized or whatever. And again, I just think, I think one of the reasons is, from the outside looking in, if you look at the stuff that's been rumored online, like fed by sources, foreshadowed at War Games, like teased explicitly on television, and then gone. I just think one of the reasons is they are just kind of scrambling. It feels like a scramble, a wider scramble, nothing personal about Hobbs, and he's just been Keys, and he's been caught up in it.
I don't disagree with that. I've got a little bit of an earnest stand-up for WWE take on this one, and I'll tie it back to Trick Williams. He got the call from NXT, and we sometimes say that an NXT wrestler gets inadvertently conditionally rhinoed and looks smaller for the bigger Raw SmackDown
I love how
stages.
he just did this big exposition about Fully Loaded 2000.
And there's another one.
And then you just say inadvertently,
Conditionally
rhinoed.
rhinoed. Why are they shorter than they were on Tuesdays in
Yeah.
Florida? Why does it not look as impactful as it did when he is half the size of Bubba Ray Dudley? I just saw him power driving the Sandman's wife through a table. Like, there's this difference that everybody felt with Rhino. That happens bizarrely with NXT wrestlers sometimes.
Yeah.
Trick, however, physically grew with the promotion, like, as in the promotion to the main roster. And he actually looks taller and bigger. I don't necessarily think his muscle mass has increased, but he looks, I think, physically bigger than he did in NXT. Royce Keys, through where I agree with you, a poor choice of a debut in that Royal Rumble, looked the opposite to me. I think he shrunk. I think he looked like, not to the extreme of a Rhino, but what an awesome monster in AEW.
Yeah.
He's just sort of in the match, and he's eliminated. They've even given him a tall guy in Damian Priest to eliminate, to illustrate that. No, he's still big and tough and hard. Damian Priest really big, and he's just lobbed him out the ring. But I don't.
These guys is very, very, very wide.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, because that move to put him in the match was a bad one. I don't think he was right there in that moment able to necessarily wrestle around it. He wasn't booked to do anything other than the Damian Priest spot. He did look a little bit like starry-eyed. Is that the word I'm going to say? Like, some wrestlers,
He didn't look like he was ready to take over and just take.
No, it was some wrestlers, when they change promotions, take a little while to fit. I am going to say a few people backstage saw it when we've made a bit of a mistake here, and now they're just, we're in the middle of February?
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks or something. Like, I understand why an instant push not happening makes people go, oh, they've ruined it, they've killed it, Tony fumbled, whatever. This cuts both ways, both promotions. Like,
Paulie's done more fumbles of late, but
yeah, it's like the Tony fumble is the chant, and it's because, like, people rock up in AEW, like Ciampa now, right? If he doesn't win another match having lost his title, it's not exactly a fumble, is it?
No.
It's just they'll figure out what they're going to do with him. I'm not really worried yet. If they've taken a look at that and thought, right, that's on us, that was bad booking, putting him in that Rumble, but while we're here, he didn't look as ready as we would have liked, so let's just take a breath, take some time, and figure out what we want to do proper.
Yeah.
I actually think that's smart. It's smart man management, It's like maybe Royce Keys himself has expressed a kind of, that was bigger than I thought I'd like to. He worked main event or something. He did something. Was it a dark match? Maybe, I don't know. It was before a taping. Like, you were just saying it when we were talking about the WrestleMania run. It's a tricky time of year, no pun intended, with Trick Williams, to magically out of nowhere slot into an important spot.
Yeah.
If they just sat on him now, and his next appearance was the Raw after WrestleMania, and it was way more dominant and way more impactful. Is that the end of the world for Royce Keys? Probably not,
It isn't.
Like, but I understand why people immediately want that impact because of how he arrived. But I think if you look at it, I love Royce Keys, loved Powerhouse Hobbs, think it's a good signing, but on balance on that Rumble performance, I wouldn't be rushing it either.
No, me neither.
But
he wasn't amazing, and
it's tricky because there's not always a place of pragmatism. Sometimes you've got to sign somebody, and you do need to go now.
It wasn't so bad where it's stigmatized. It was just a bit, that happened, or that was a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good take of like, let's just both. There's no rush.
No.
We're building Mania here. You can do something after. It's just odd. I don't know, but
I think it was a poor choice to put him in the match. I do.
Yeah, it's the Rumble's fault for sucking as well. The next question comes from Matt Rains. His first criticism is in parenthesis, no Malachi Black photo. I'll level with you. I forgot to send the friggin' tweet, right? I forgot to send the tweet, even though we agreed this morning to do a Q&A. And then by the time I remembered to do the tweet, there was an hour left before we were booked into the studio, and I was less concerned about writing something funny about Malachi Black than I was, we need questions, otherwise we can't do this. So that's on me. And to be honest, like every good run comes to an end. Like, you could argue that they should have went out on Abbey Road and not let it be. I feel like the Malachi Black's Q&A caption.
Wow.
Yeah,
you got one more in you.
I don't know.
You'll see a gif of him one day and you'll be like, all right, one more. One for the road.
Maybe. We'll see. But, I just wasn't happening today.
That's fair. That's all right.
No, I'm just Couldn't get it up, is she?
Which means two things. Yeah.
Matt's question after his criticism is like this. I'll go with the obvious question. What the hell does Hangman do when he can't challenge for the world title now, Mo? Well, he either leaves. There's three options. He leaves, and this is his way of saying goodbye. Can't really see it. He wins, or he loses and does something else. It's like he's winning, isn't he?
Nah.
But it's weird, isn't it?
Good this. We have a long form chat on if you haven't watched it yet, Dynamite review.
It's so like, let's like use Matt Reigns' hypothetical. Hangman doesn't leave, but he doesn't win neither, and he just simply is unable to contend for the world title again. It's such a strange stipulation because, as demonstrated by Cody Rhodes, there's really nothing for you to do. You can win the TNT title like Cody did and then lose it and then, well, try and get that back. It's like, well, the problem with AEW as well is like they're very good at getting people hot or interesting. Like, look at Ciampa. But this has been a big thing. Like AEW is really good at getting people over. Not necessarily staying over at the top level, but like AEW's history is like, and this will pertain to Hangman soon. AEW has this pretty strong history of like getting people to think, oh God, that wrestler who's just in the mix all of a sudden is awesome. Beast Mortos for a lot of, like, was it about 2024? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ciampa this year. Christ, how good is Mike Bailey? He's even better than I thought. He's not really done much recently. They're so good at making you think.
A couple of Willow runs early days.
Yeah, you know, there's loads of them. There's absolutely loads of them. John Silver's awesome for a bit, you know? And the problem with that, the weird problem with that kind of good ability is that there's always a good it doesn't really work anymore that there's 5 titles. But when it was just the TNT, I used to think that when like Wardlow or Hobbs had like a middling week, you'd think, oh, I'll just put it on Takeshita instead, you know?
Yeah.
Like the answer is Hangman Page could win a meaningless title until he decides and then lose it and then go back for it. And you almost resent them weirdly for volunteering to stay at that level when they can do much more, a la Mark Briscoe. You know?
You wouldn't with Hangman. There'd be no resentment stage. There would be the, I am doing the best I can do. I'm not allowed. You know, like, when are the 2 times where the most cold water has been poured on Hangman Page's overness is when he's actually won the belt.
I know.
Like, it's they might have
People
stumbled
might
upon the perfect character to do this, to sell a pay-per-view with a real proper ramification of a storyline. You're not telling me MJF might not have a bunch of marketing already set up that says main character in big letters because he is now conclusively it, because Hangman Page can never be, because he can't win this belt again. Like, I've got a lot of faith.
Why would Hangman Page volunteer to do that, though? Because ultimately he can't just...
To get his stipulation. To lure MJF into the Texas...
I'm talking about...
Oh, the human being. Adam Page. But, well,
why would you do this?
Because he's lived his own life and watched what happens when he actually wins the thing. Like, maybe he's understood that, like...
The thing is, like, people go on at Hangman Page, right? Like, he gets the world title, and then he walks into the building, and his trousers fall down, his dick flops out. Oh, it happened again.
It's the opposite of what a belt should do.
You know, it's like, it wasn't that bad.
No, I know. I'm just, like, maybe, right.
I'm Hangman Page. I'm not agreeing to this unless I'm winning.
I've got a bit of, like, I think I must have more warmth for, like, perfect world AEW, or a belief in it, that it can still function, maybe than you do it. Because I would, you know, when you used to say, like, and maybe you still think this, I don't know, but, like, Kenny Omega...
It's more of a long-term thing to me.
Kenny Omega thinks on a deeper level. The Elite simply had to. They proved they did, at least in their like peak days, in order for so much of this to grow. Like, I just think they've got the idea. I have, like, maybe it's blind faith. I think they've got the idea. I think they know exactly how, like, MJF, the main character, having to be stopped by the true new main character of AEW, Will Ospreay, the QB1, the Cody Rhodes. Here he is, and he's ready to do it in the best possible way, all in as well. Like, there'll be another day to worry about Hangman Page. And in the meantime, like, how often in wrestling, in the 52-week-a-year product, do you get a chance to basically send a character back to start with, like, on a game that you can't even theoretically complete? I think that's like that's like, there's very few characters you can do that with. And I think that's
Why would he exist then?
Because, like, what a bold, broad-shouldered guy to know that he can never, ever be the top of this tree, but he wants to be in it. He wants to be part of it. He knows he can serve people. He can be a trios champion with jet speed. He can win.
Not even that now, and he's got the freaking belt.
He can be a secondary champion and, like, try and police things the good way, no matter who's on top, like an MJF. Like, I think it's a totally unique thing that not many. Here's me. Look at me putting over Hangman Page. Not many characters can do, and yet I think he's one of the few that you can. CM Punk. Let's go right in the other side of the culture war. Like, theoretically, can't function without eyes on the prize. The beauty of a Punk is that he gets diverted and then he's in a program. It's like, I wanted to win the world title, but I got stuck with him. Like, but the character that believes himself to be the best in the world always has to have eyes on the prize, even if it's a long way in the future. Hangman Page is like the first guy to tell you sometimes he questions if he's really the best. So, like, there's your automatic diversion. I understand what you're saying about, like, well, what does he actually...
Every wrestler at that level or that talented should have that as the idea and the goal.
What if this is like, again, I really believe Tony Khan wanted so much more than what he was ever able to deliver with Cody, and now he's getting a second bite at it. Like, and he's got a better character.
It was Cody's decision when they had a booking committee and they gave themselves equal sort of responsibility. And, like, at the time, Tony, well, he kind of had to politically until it went wrong. And it was that point where I was like, you know what? I'm bankrolling it. So he was just quite timidly went, all right, Cody, you can have your crazy impulsive idea. Here's the thing, right? Hangman Page, let's pretend for a moment he got hot again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he got hot again. He's not, but let's pretend for a moment he got hot again. And people are really thinking, God, he could win that title again and really mean it this time. You wouldn't dare think of doing the stipulation then. What if Hangman Page got hot in a year's time? You're knackered.
I disagree. I think, again, you either create your...
If he's a babyface, who's red hot and somehow gets hot again, but, you did that stupid stipulation at Revolution 2025.
So you create a situation where the fans are begging him.
But you don't want to break the stip. Because if you break this stip, we'll never have this conversation again.
And it's wrestling, you probably would, wouldn't you? Like... It's like a retirement in an effect. Like, you can undo retirements, you can undo this. Like,
AEW's been really good with that, though.
Mm-hmm. But again, I think that's partly what makes this so fantastic. Like, but AEW's been really good with this. You kind of get one time sometimes to do a thing. Like, we were talking about a week ago.
I think he's winning.
We were talking. Well, again, this is what's brilliant about the stipulation, isn't it? Is that I think he's losing, but this is the stuff that makes people buy pay-per-views, isn't it? Like, a week ago, one of the many, I think, measured criticisms we had, or we were doing a bit of critical analysis on Hangman Page, the why currently where he is, was that, you know what, you got to give this the benefit of the doubt here. This character has been broadly doing the same thing for 7 years. That's ages. That's longer than...
It's ages,
That's longer than 2 Attitude Eras. That's longer than blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
Darby, Orange, Hangman.
There's a lot of it in that 7-year club, right? Hangman Page, again, I'll use the phrase again, getting the opportunity here to press the reset button. Like, you are wiping the slate clean. You're just completely, like, starting again with him. Like, this, the idea of this stipulation has made him feel hot for the benefit of this title program. Him losing it and going from being the quote-unquote main character to having no character at all, to having no purpose. I can't think of many people better to portray a character like that. A totally new frontier. We are constantly asking for wrestling to throw new ideas at us, new concepts, new ways of thinking and approaching stuff. I think he's one of the best people ever placed to do it. Genuinely, I do.
Well,
like,
we'll see. We'll see.
Guess I'm just an elite guy, gang.
Shut up, man. Here's the best question, I think, of the day. And thank you, because I've been saying it. Comes from Ian McKenna. With Punk and Roman essentially redoing last year's Mania main event, but this time without Seth Rollins, and it already being a million times more interesting and exciting, do you think the powers that be or Seth himself might finally acknowledge he is absolutely dog shit? I'm serious. That's a good question, and I said the same thing. Like,
Raises some questions.
It does raise some questions. I said a similar thing in our Raw review not too long ago of like, oh, they're doing it but without Seth, and it's better. And it just reminded me of those times last year when they would do that. Did they do a certain segment where literally Roman and Punk were sat down and Seth wasn't? He was standing up, and
He was fuming because Punk was being allowed back in, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. That like,
and he forgot he was out on.
He was almost trying to get Roman on side to be like, "Come on, I know we're not mates anymore, but this guy, you know, it was like it was incensed. He was incensed that like Punk was. That was the idea anyway. That him being left out for him.
Yeah.
Are you joking me? That was like it was an in character thing, but I know a lot of people took it as, you know, that's how we actually feel. Like Seth's had that happen quite a bit, where an in character thing is far too close to the truth.
I think Levesque has got this paternal thing with Seth. I mean, that would explain why he gets so many pushes despite loads of available metrics, like the less than impressive Netflix numbers when it was built. Why would you build a Netflix show around Seth Rollins? It's crazy to me. The 2019 numbers and
like a wacky post WrestleMania push of a guy that's been around 12 years.
Aye. I remember I used to do that. Can't do it anymore. It's too good.
Yeah.
He said the 10 bizarre candidates for the post WrestleMania push.
The Jinder run.
The Jinder run.
Yeah.
The, Darren Young.
Yeah.
Like there was like a few where like, oh, they're gonna push. Yeah. I know the question is facetious, right? And sadly, it's irrelevant. Until he wants to hang them up, Seth will be pushed beyond reason, in my opinion, at a certain level. But it's the kind of thing where it's like, surely you're thinking, do we miss Seth that much? This is actually better than it was last year when he was not there. Like, Seth, I just think he sucks, man. I think he's came out in an interview and was like, who's your GOAT? Like, it was all like Shawn Michaels or Eddie Guerrero or, you know, Kurt Angle or AJ Styles. He's like, I know, Dusty wasn't very good in the ring. He was unbelievable at what the actual pure distilled version of it is, and that's making the crowd go banana. But he's got that good matches are good brain. It's like, aren't you in the Fed?
Yeah.
What's your problem? Like, Seth Rollins, I think, is inexplicable to wrestling fans who watch more than one promotion, because there are people who broadly operate in the same kind of genre and have the same kind of aims for their wrestling matches, i.e. for them to be long and exciting with moves in, if you want to be really reductive about it. And he's one of the worst of the lot at that. He couldn't lace Kenny Omega's boots. He couldn't lace Will Ospreay's boots. Kyle Fletcher's lapping him in terms of great matches. If you like that kind of, I want this match to be epic match. I want this match to be epic, you know? Seth Rollins is a safer, less good, slower, less intricate, less complex Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, et al. He's clever, because if you just watch WWE, he's actually quite unique in terms of they don't give that genre of wrestler usually that many minutes and that many PLEs. So he's the WWE good wrestler guy, but if you watch other promotions or if you know anything about wrestling history, I don't think he's that good. And he's not even that good as a character either.
I was just going to say that, like,
he's so polished and he rarely flubs, and in that hyper-produced world, you can understand why Levesque would love that. Yeah, I can count on a Seth Rollins. It's like, you can. I can't get excited by him.
Yeah, like, I was trying to, like, form...
Do you miss him?
Do I miss him now? No, but I do. He's a tricky one, because I do sometimes fantasy book his comebacks. When he's gone, I'm like,
having a little whack.
Where's he going to stop back in, you know? Like, who's he going to...
When you go to Tesco, you're like, and your brow's furrowed, and people think, oh, well, you can't find his doesn't know where his rice is or whatever.
I'm like,
your fantasy book and Seth Rollins.
I'm thinking, like, where are we slotting Seth back in? Like, I was trying to play devil's advocate there, but I'm not even sure I want to. That's how Seth Rollins makes me feel. Like, I sometimes think he fits into stuff just fine. And I'm a fitter inner in life. I'm a people-pleasing fitter inner. I relate more to Seth Rollins than I relate to most wrestlers in some regards. Like, we talked about this before. I'm not saying in a good way. I don't want to relate to wrestlers. Like, we've talked about this. It was great when Austin was around, because, like, who doesn't want to go to work and punch the boss in the face? Me. Like, I don't know. I want to have, like,
I've had some bosses where I'm like, you are irritating.
Well, I guess I don't feel violence or whatever. Violent anger. Like, but I loved watching Steve Austin do it. You know? I love CM Punk. I would act in none of the ways he acts in any single aspect of his life, right down to the fact that I like a beer. Like, there is not a single thing CM Punk does in his real adult life that I would do. Yes. And then he extends that to his character, and I wouldn't do it. But I love watching him. I find him a captivating figure because of that.
Got to do with Seth Rollins.
What it's got to do with Seth Rollins is that I get him. I get Seth Rollins in a way that I'm almost like ashamed to admit. I get him. I like to settle in and fit in and make people's life easier and people please and all that kind of stuff. I don't like to rock boats. I don't like to disrupt. And I believe that there is a purpose to that in life, right? So if you widen it out to WWE,
you got very hyper specific things that you like about things.
There should be a Seth Rollins, right? That's why Triple H likes him. So when you were talking about he can't lace Kenny's boots, he can't lace Ospreay's boots, he can't lace Fletcher's boots, I 100% agree bell to bell. Like, Ospreay could go bigger, like, in a North American stadium show on a 52 weeks a year, trying to cut promo and get on and do some stuff. Could Kenny and Fletcher maybe? Kenny has proven not. Like, there's a thing that Seth Rollins can do that Kenny Omega's proven time and time again he can't, which is just functionally exist all the time as a 52-week a year wrestling character.
Would anyone want to do that?
Because that's the way wrestling works. I'm not saying it's better, but that's the wrestling we've got.
Kenny Omega in 2021 was better than Seth Rollins has ever been as a pushed talk every week commodity.
Yeah, one year versus 12.
Yeah, but it's 1 year of good stuff as opposed to 1 year of what is this Seth Rollins psyop? The WWE monopoly has ruined everything. This guy in a truly competitive landscape would not get over anywhere and wouldn't last anywhere.
He wouldn't be at the top of any card I ever booked. That's where I draw the line with Seth. I think like running with him as a main eventer is stupid. I like that Roman and Punk can both separately have their little pops. No pop. And Punk can take his digs, and they're both right. There's a tier, and Seth Rollins should have never been even like allowed to be a special guest in that tier. But I get him. I think he fits. I think he's like, if the Vision had only ever been a mid-card stable, we'd probably been in like a much better place where they finally found where they fit. You could do that the same with Seth Rollins. Comes back. He wrestled Logan Paul the other year at WrestleMania 39. Me and you both think that's the best WrestleMania ever. I think that's a perfect spot for Seth Rollins. A really cool entrance.
Tony Nese could do that.
A really cool. Yeah. Well, like if you give Tony Nese the abs entrance that we wanted, then he'd get Seth's spot instead, and that'd be fine because Seth
hasn't done anything as patter as that.
A fitter inner, and he's replaceable and that. But you like those people. I like having those people. You know, like their dependability is a quality. I'm sorry, it's not a flashy one, and it's not an impressive one. Like, and you don't want many of them. God's sake, the 2010s.
The coach who would pick Sean Longstaff.
I've never really saw him enough to know that. Is he the one that ended up at Leeds?
Yeah.
My Leeds mate quite likes him.
Yeah.
In the era where it was a roster full of dependables, it's as bad as it got. It was as bad as it got. Like, Laurinaitis pilled body guys, 4 of them could work, most of them couldn't, whatever. Awful. Just a house full of Zigglers. You know? Seth, Sean. I didn't rate Dean Ambrose, the singles guy, half as much as I would go on to rate John Moxley, the singles guy, for example, you know. Just now, there's a way more diverse selection of wrestlers that offer different things that they are good at. And I like Seth kicking around in the middle. It's just preposterous that he still thinks he's got this like entitled route into main events. It's that. I get it though. I get why he thinks like that. I watched Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he said on his Desire video that if you ain't here to win that belt, you may as well get the hell out. So I tried to win that belt, and I couldn't. So I got the hell out and opened a coffee shop, and now I came back and want to win that belt. Like, I get why he would think like that, just because we think he's bang, bland, average.
Bang, bland, average.
I want 6 bang, bland, average guys. You know, he's work rate Randy Orton. He's some respects his work rate Kane.
I'll never understand any of this.
But you have them, you just don't push them to the top of the card. He could get over Trick Williams. Like, Trick Williams beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. There you go. That's a big win. Seth Rollins has got credit in the bank with people.
I think we're agreeing in a really weird way.
This is the thing.
Let's move on.
It's the old Seth paradox.
Let's move on. Don't you understand? Still talking. I'm hosting.
I like Seth Rollins debate. I find it interesting.
I find your brain sometimes baffles me.
The problem you have, and I get it, is that your love of things being the best and then get the hell out of the way. Like, collides with my nice, neat, tidy roster where everybody does a bit of everything. Like, I believe in like a Premier League of wrestlers, including relegation zone and mid-table teams. And I understand why you would be like, no, thank you. Like,
Seth Rollins should have been relegated in 2015, and he was on top in 2025. A joke.
Yeah.
It's a total joke. It's like seen True Detective season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna butcher this quote, but the character played by Matthew McConaughey, who, if you've never seen it, I mean, it's 10-year-old or whatever, so I'm going to tell you about it. He plays this incredibly broken alcoholic who in his line of work has seen the worst things imaginable, and his young daughter died, so he's become this alcoholic, nihilist guy. And one of his quotes that I'm butchering is that he thinks the human race was a mistake, some weird anomaly of consciousness that just happened, and then here we are. Like, Seth Rollins is someone who should not exist in the role he's been in for the amount of time he's been in it, in any other thing except this weird WWE monopoly where they can just do psyops and it's fine and I have to deal with it. I hate it. Like this idea of Randy Orton being a star. It's like, 09 Randy Orton kicked. Like, here's the thing as well. He's not a star. He's never really had any metrics. But provided you don't destroy the baseline, right? And they can still get money, not even from paying fans. And again, this adds to the psyop aspect of it. As long as you don't destroy that baseline or pull really alarming 2004 numbers, if they like you, you'll just be on top.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins is a weird anomaly of this Monopoly era that I just can't stand and ruined everything. Anyway, good talk. Kenty 2K. This one's for you. I'm going to pass it over straight away. I'm sorry, I have zero interest, but I like the question. WWE fans will, and I know Hamflett will. If you were to book a Dominik and Liv face turn against the Judgment Day, how do you think a Dom apology tour would go if he needs help from Priest, Rhea, and finally Ray, setting up a multi-person at SummerSlam possibly?
I mean, I love it. Straight out the gate, I love it. We talked before about, I think there's like genuine, proper, not taking the piss, not doing a bit, we don't do bits, money in a Judgment Day split along the lines of an NWO split, and you probably go with Dominik and Liv versus Finn Balor as the two sides, and that makes all the sense, is to tie them back to Damien and Rhea. Damien is the easy one because he ain't got nothing going on no more, and you can
don't
even
care about nothing.
You can even fictionalize that. You can even say like, you were the world champion. How's it going for you lately? Look, I'm sorry, I was a dumb kid. Now I'm less of a dumb kid, and you sort of. There are things that Dominik has always done that have always generated almost like a guilty pop. He's a wrestler you love to hate. They're the most fun heels, aren't they? Because you dream of the day you can just cheer them for the things they do. It's not changing too much about him is what makes this so much fun, is because like Dirty Dom's a character in which he becomes a baby face when he does exactly what he does now, but two heels. So that's where that starts. Yeah. So that's how him and Liv, I think, get over his baby. That's the hardest bit is the easiest bit with those two. If they start, like if they lose all their matches at WrestleMania or whatever, and then they kind of gradually find themselves turning inwards a bit on Roxanne Perez and Finn Balor or whoever, fans are just going to go with Dom and Liv because they've just been waiting to for all this time. So that's the easy bit taken care of. I would say that Triple H's patient booking style is best.
We're not going to see this until 2029.
Is best serviced in a storyline like this because he doesn't like Rhea Ripley. Like, he doesn't Game of Thrones last season, that bitch. And all of a sudden, we're going to this town. 2 scenes later, we're in this town. Like, he actually remembers, I don't know if it's the old whiteboard or the Bible or whatever, but he makes people wait for that reunion. Like, look at Rhea and Liv now. Rhea and Io now. And look at how long it actually took them to formalize as a team. You could have done that in, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But they had matches. They, like, even when, like, the Io splitting from, it was very obvious that Io needed to get away from Asuka. Asuka was this awful presence in her life, but Io wanted to stay true to Asuka for a bit, and then it was like, no, actually, Rhea's been good to me all this time, we'll get together. He was patient with that, took his time with that. Like, Liv would have to prove herself 4 times It's not just going to be one night on SmackDown. She saves Rhea, and then they're hugging in the ring.
Yeah.
You can visualize it, can't you? Liv saves her, and Rhea's more.
I mean, I wouldn't visualize it in a million years.
Rhea's more.
Certainly when I'm not trying to get my groceries at Tesco.
Rhea's more suspicious of Liv's motives for saving her, and you would build to it slowly. And she would be like, "Look, I know me and Dominik did you dirty or everything, but we've got a problem with X, Y, and Z." I know, wouldn't you believe it? So do you too. I think you get there pretty quick. I think bring back Judgment Day again. That against the terrible one they've got now. That's a SummerSlam mid card match that you'd want to see.
I mean, I did love Terror Twins.
Oh God,
Liv and Dom.
that's what you're summoning, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a mega powers of all of that together against.
You lost this.
But
Me.
But the heel unit when they first
Are you conflating 2020?
remember Street Trash? Remember how you awful bastards Street Trash. The Goody Judgment Day versus Street Trash. That's a stadium PLE match. That one.
You're conflating 1989 and 2023. Fair does continues to make me sick.
Dad, I got you something. What is it, Dom? I've said I'll wrestle you. Just take a look at it. And then they do the entrance and Rhea comes out in purple and black Rey Mysterio gear. And it's come on.
Look at that face.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
The next question. It's the second one from Ian McKenna. I've got a very, very basic answer to this. And it's very cynical as well. Assuming Cody and Drew are locked in as the main event of night one, is there anything you would add to increase excitement levels? 3-way with Jacob, 4-way with Jacob and Orton, WCW triple cage, cinematic match in the Boneyard, etc. It's a pretty tragic reflection of Drew McIntyre, this, right? But wrestling's cheat, where CM Punk's doing it with Finn Balor to a degree now. It's like, you used to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
For the purposes of this program, you are going to be again. Even though you spent years and years just doing, some decent stuff in the Judgment Day that people like. And then before that, pretty much nothing at all times. Yeah. And then it's better if you have one good run, do nothing, so then you can market said good run, and it looks so much better compared to what you're doing now or have done for 10 years. God, Carl Anderson. That G1, eh?
Yeah.
That G1. So there's a little bit of that to this pitch, right? But if you just remind people that, Drew was over once and he was proper motivated and confident, and he kind of carried it all once on his shoulders. He could do a Hell in a Cell match. Just to remind people that, he was over once and oh my God, he's doing that thing again that he did when he was at his most over. Cody's got history.
They bottled it with the 3 stages of hell. It looked certain that the 3rd stage was going to be Hell in a Cell, and it was a cage instead.
Yeah, they could just.
Yeah, they could.
For all intents, I think
pitch that.
I know Drew has won the title, and they've done 3 stages of hell, but it's just such a wonky feud where it's well, forget that one because it wasn't really the finale. This is the real quiz. I mean, it can't be a stipulation match because. It can't not be a stipulation match. It can't just be a normal singles match because they're still at will attacking each other on SmackDown, and their animosity is so heightened that they're getting escorted out of the arenas and such. So they have to do something. If it's a singles match, they have to stip that bitch up. And what is the main event of WrestleMania sized? Ladder?
I just wouldn't put them on last. I think that's the answer. I wouldn't put this on last.
You put Liv on last?
Yeah, currently.
Because out of the 2 potential women's divisions, title directions, Liv and Stephanie is the biggest one.
Good advocate for the Rumble as well, isn't it? Because then there's both winners in both main events. I worry that sometimes we bury Drew McIntyre too much here.
It's inexplicable that they are apparently doing this.
The biggest problem for me, right? And, all being well, etc.
Punk and Roman Reigns are being more cynical than us, more negative than us.
That is true.
They're his peers. They should be wanting to make money with this dude at some point, and they are killing him.
In a dream scenario, currently cooking up, I might even be in the building to see it myself. I'm trying to visualize how it will feel if Cody Rhodes dethrones Drew McIntyre, and the amount of nothing that courses through me is offensive. It's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I still love Cody Rhodes. And I like watching him work. I don't mind if he turns heel. I love that he still
Especially since he jumped to WWE.
he figured it all out, didn't he? I love that he backs himself in all the things he does, even when someone.
What would 2019 Hamflett think of 2026 Hamflett?
You'd just be impressed at his personal growth, probably. People can change and understand. I gave up that ghost when, of all things, when there was no crowds. But you think all those crowds that were adoring him would tell me, oh, no, he probably is all right. So you want to get them people
I'm taking the piss out, yeah.
Get them people out of the building, then I get it. But no, I love Cody Rhodes. Rapidly becoming an all-time favourite. Thank you for being the front of the boom and all that. QB1. What is it if you beat Drew McIntyre at this point?
Yeah.
That's the worst of it. It's not Drew McIntyre having the belt. It's the fact that I don't particularly want to see Cody dethrone him. If you just flip the belt to Jacob Fatu now, then at least Cody's got a mountain I'm interested in watching him climb.
Yeah.
Or it's revealed that Cody was the one that attacked him because he was intimidated by him, and this is the heel turn in effect. Jacob beating Drew is interesting because Jacob never won the WWE title. Trick Williams beating Drew is interesting because Trick's never won the title. Cody getting his third run? Yeah, his third run with the belt in what really, to me, is the easiest of the lot.
Right.
That's backwards. That's
they've had a meh with all this.
Yeah, I was an advocate for him winning the belt. The change felt necessary.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it just stands up this idea that Triple H has torn so many cards. There's just streams of piece of paper over the floor when the first one might have been all right if you just made 2 or 3 changes rather than tearing the whole thing up. He appears to be tearing everything up rather than just making 1 or 2 small adjustments. And I believe that reporting because I don't think you would have had the way things have played out without throwing the baby out with the bathwater over and over and over again and then having to react to that rather than just simply, we need to make a couple of tweaks here. Roman and Cody's political thing, that's not going to work. So we need to make a few changes. All right, we'll make a few small changes. No, I'm starting again then. Sod it. You can just see somebody flip.
He needs to just tell.
Again.
Tell. I'm
yeah.
I'm Paul Levesque, bitch. Do you see what I've done compared to you in this business?
Yeah.
I mean, he's both drawn more than me, but be that as it may. I am here, user down here. Do what I say, or one of you isn't doing this.
Which, we've seen what happens before when promoters try and play the compromise game rather than...
Triple H has been doing this for 2 years?
Yeah. He got what he wanted and what he needed out of a perfect pivot for WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
But everything since then.
I wonder, because Drew McIntyre is not interesting to talk about. If, we've talked about this, it's more realistic than ever before. Someone like a Paul Levesque just TKO, unhappy with the performance, and he just gets booted. It could happen, realistically. They are people doing jobs for a much bigger company who don't have the same interpersonal relationships. We don't know it yet, but we are very much post-Vince and the way everything like this is going to work.
It's an office with a boss now.
It is.
Results can change. Graphs can show. Yeah.
What if he goes?
Yeah.
He could go if he doesn't get the results and it keeps they are not impressed with them or whatever. Will his inability to just tell the wrestlers underneath him, I don't care if you want to do that job, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not using you. I'm not shoehorning you elsewhere to do this, that, and the other, and what have you. You're doing it, or you're not doing it. He's not and again, we use the comparison not to put the guy over, but Vince McMahon, I know there'll be elements where it's people told him to kick rocks, but you would just usually berate them and cut his nose off to spite his face and just not ask them back and stuff.
To make the point of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think Triple H has got that dog in him.
Well, I wonder if there's been a few times where I've always I've thought with Triple H, and the Rumble is one of these, where I feel an attempt to fix what was so obviously broken about WWE under Vince McMahon has resulted in this overcorrection. It's the Rumble being this comedic nostalgia pop thing. His overcorrection of that is to make them too boring.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an element of this with WrestleMania. Can't believe I'm saying this, but that's how things go sometimes. What a Drew McIntyre WWE title WrestleMania could do with is a WrestleMania 28, that bitch with a Rock in the main event. or like every year we'd like, well, who's the big star coming back this year? Then?
Yeah.
That what fundamentally awful era because nobody's over, so you need to bring back a Triple H or a Rock or an Austin or whatever. This is actually a year where you sort of need one. Yeah. So we're talking about night one, and I said, well, it's Drew versus Cody, but in the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin is fighting whatever.
Yeah, good
right?
with that.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, all right. Well, the WWE title can go underneath. We used to talk like that every year.
Yeah, I know.
Because the belts didn't matter because it's okay because the big star's coming back, to wrestle John Cena or whatever. Like, that's the get out this year. Because it's Cody's specific quest and Drew being the one to be in front of that is the exact thing wrong. Gunther going in. There's a lot of people can line up against Drew and make that match more. You wouldn't make it a main event, but you make it more interesting. Cody's not got any other rivals because he's been trapped in this Drew McIntyre vortex. Bad.
Bad stuff. Bad stuff. 3 more. We'll do them quite quickly. Good take, more than a question, really, from Alan Egan saying, 2-parter boys. Is Harley Cameron the Jey Uso of AEW? Not great in ring, but always over with the live crowd. One is a better excuse than the other. Yes, Jey Uso's been working for several decades and he still stinks. Also, who are your guys similar to that? Never in-ring darlings, but people you've always been attached to. Yeah, more of a take than a question, but I agree with it. And the question is, how long can it hold? Like, Harley Cameron gets a pop and people like it, but my God, all of that evaporates in the ring. In AEW, it's a bit more pertinent. You kind of have to be good in the ring. And again, she never really was, and she's still really over.
Yeah, what are people moan about the Iconics for? That's Harley Cameron's route.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, babyface version of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
God, they're going to interact, and it's going to be hideous.
It might be, yeah.
Not my brand of humor at all. No, good take. It's getting a bit... I used to really like Harley Cameron. I admired her. Never like, oh, yes, Harley Cameron's on telly. Not my brand of humor. But, like, God, fair play for getting over. Like, I do, as a, a 40-year-old wrestling fan, if someone gets over, I just think it's hard that. It is really hard, so well done. But, yeah. I don't think it'll turn on her. But already there's, like, the crowds are a lot quieter for her.
Yeah.
So I think it'll just fizzle away. It won't get toxic or anything, but yeah. You've got the Great Khali. Anyone else?
Miz and...
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, even then I can't put him in this list. I don't commit to him that much.
Because he doesn't exist in any list. That's the point. He's a total non-entity who shouldn't exist.
Miz,
Thank you. He's agreed after all that.
Great Khali and Miz, and increasingly of late, Solo Sikoa as well.
Yeah,
like,
you love Solo.
I love him, and I like... It's like we've answered these questions a lot. I've always explained why. It's not just this like unexplainable thing, but I'll then like enjoy being loyal to it, even if it's loyal to a fault. Miz continues to impress me genuinely. Like Solo at the moment is just having a bit of a run that I'm really enjoying. That could go south. Miz, I mean, he put up with the absolute worst of it and won in life.
Yes,
the characters, whatever, but I like that. I do. There's something about the Miz that I was like, the glint in my eye for the Miz will never go out.
Yeah.
Bless him. Bless that.
You're so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's always hard for me to answer.
Yeah, this is the opposite of what you switch on for.
I like good stuff. Okay. I don't have like the beginning of the relationship with me with any kind of wrestler isn't, oh, you've got this thing about you that I just quite admire and I'll put up with what you're not good at. So you kind of have to be good or I don't like it.
That's life for you though, isn't it? Like life it has to move forward quality wise with it. Like you get like your fixations, that's your word.
Yeah.
Your hobbies and your bands and your films and there are certain exceptions, always rule proven exceptions. I would say David Lynch is a big one.
Yes.
Like
he's other than June, it was all goated all the time.
Newcastle United is a badge. But the people,
it's my religion, though.
The people that play or manage, you can run out of road with them.
Oh, yeah.
They're very like sort of they're gone, they're dead to me now, that kind of thing.
That's a football fan thing, not just me.
I guess so, but I would say you approach life like that. Wrestling isn't the only thing, that you have that take on. I don't think there's many things that stick around once they've no longer felt like the peak of the powers.
Yeah, no, it's like every now and then I'll see someone like on Twitter go, "Oh, the new X album isn't great, but there's still certain songs on it that I quite like. I'm like, well, they're dead to me.
Yeah.
Like Weezer, there are like people who like, oh, the new Weezer album, not great, but I like X, Y, and Z song. I adore, like, the Blue Album, I think, is my favorite album ever. And yet, the latest of that, if I somehow by chance hear something good of theirs, like, oh, I'll check it out, but like, I'm not going to listen to the full album. Okay. You're not as good as it used to be. Be gone.
Yeah.
Be gone. So anyone who I like, unironically, and like I'm loyal to and I support, who's fundamentally not very good, I don't think so, Jack.
I'm struggling to ironic ones that get folded into our bit sphere.
Yeah.
In this podcast is different.
They're fundamentally not good at what they do that I just like regardless.
You're a Fritz von Erich because the orders can change.
Yeah.
You will let people in.
Don't call us that.
No, you will let people in.
Hey, Fritzer.
There they go again. But you know what I mean? Like, somebody can...
Von Wagner is the closest.
Yeah.
He's just, he is a 7-foot monster man.
We had, like, fatherly worries.
Yes.
Von Wagner. It was like, there was something about that. He's all right.
Yeah.
You know, when your kids start school and you get worried for them over the first few
really
days.
paternal over Von. So that's the closest, I guess. Von Wagner for me, I guess. It's never, the answer's neither. What was the first piece of wrestling merch you ever bought for yourself?
What a great question. That would have been, I think this is correct, the Hulk Hogan Real American VHS with some like birthday or Christmas money from Woolworths. Yeah. I know the first.
Please. You were never a Hogan guy though.
No, but it was the
Just
video. The video I had in Woolworths with like stuff I hadn't seen yet. Yeah. You know, I remember the first time I was like, "Please take me here." So what little pocket money I have, I want to spend it on that. Was the Slam Jam single as well? So that would have been like late '92. And the video, the thing with those Real American Collector Series ones, was that they were like $7.99 instead of $14.99. Yeah. So I would have picked a cheaper one because I could have afforded it myself. Yeah. So it would have been something from that specific 91-ish era of Woolworths type videos.
So I got everything bought for me, obviously, when I'm 7, 8 years old.
Magazines were big with pocket money as well.
Yeah, magazines.
I can picture the newsagent I would go to get my WWF magazine.
Menzies. And I told you, like, who's that old guy next to the cool Glossier guy? Rich Flair? Who's that? Oh, he's pretty old. That Sting guy looks cool, but very grainy.
The UK relationship with Aptor mags is very different to the American one. Yeah, you would get a random bouquet of them. Sometimes they're about 3 years out of date because the newsagent just stocked it. And then you'd flick to the back page and you'd see like a name off superstars that in this era is like number 6 in the USWA top 10.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
What's he doing there? Why's Barry Horowitz getting a run with some like TV title in whereversville? Like,
I've got this half dim memory of an old WWF magazine with like a catalog where you could get the figures by mail order.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've never seen those ones. And because like they know what they're doing, they're photographed beautifully and the pages are glossy. Like they look like the greatest things I've ever seen. Was there a Bitch and Crush Hasbro?
Yep. That exact advert you're talking about has Demolition with the little masks on.
Yes.
It's also got one of the rarest ever because I don't think it was released. It's Rhythm and Blues with Greg Valentine with the black hair and the white jacket. Zack Ryder owns it. I think they only made like so many for that and you could never buy it. Honky was on there with him, and it would have been like the Ring there, and maybe a select few others. That would have been like around 1990, early 91. That advert.
No. I'm talking like 2 or 3. Was there an Adam Bomb figure?
Yeah. That was the Green Card series. Very, very limited release over here. I was talking about this with somebody recently. I got like these green cards. There was like Adam Bomb, Ludwig Berges, 1-2-3 Kid, and the Smoking Guns, and maybe the white and black geared Yokozuna. And there was like there was a limited release and then they were gone. You just did not see them at all. And I got this Adam Bomb, and this would have been like 94-ish. And I used to like go to car boot sales with my dad on a Sunday, and there was always
I think it was an Adam Bomb figure to answer the question.
There you go. was all
He
these.
just had the look of looks, him.
There was the gear on it. The
Oh,
Hasbro was
God,
gorgeous.
the
Had
body as
little
well.
glasses on, whatever. Poor sod coming up at the same time as Kevin Nash. That's rough luck when you're Brian Clark. He's got the car boot sale, and there was a guy that would like sell geek stuff when there wasn't necessarily as many high street shops of that. And he would like say, I've got some, I'll look through his wrestling videos or his magazines, whatever. I had them all. Like, but hey, have you got this? Have you got this? And he was like, oh, well, I'm actually looking for these figures. I only need a few to finish my collection. I'm like, me too. Who you missing? You got need. You're a grown ass man, and I'm 8. Like, and I had Adam Bomb, and he goes, have you now? I struck a deal where I swapped him. I went back to the car boot sale next week with my Adam Bomb Hasbro, and I swapped him my Adam Bomb Hasbro for 10 tapes. Basically filled in the remainder of my Coliseum video collection for this. And obviously what he knew was that it was worth loads more, and he could buy those tapes again. But I'd never seen Survivor Series 87, so I needed that.
Survivor Series 87, just on the cusp of the olden days.
Yeah. It's not quite Survivor Series 88 for looking like the Fed,
Yeah.
It's like I was Andre winning the main event, and what's going on with these?
I get it.
Some of these tag teams are stinkers.
I get it. I totally get it.
But yeah, 10 tapes for an Adam Bomb figure. That was a good day. One of my best days of childhood. I'm not saying full life. I got a cameo corner one. Do you want to do it before, or is that a good lasty? Cameo corner. For those that don't know, I'm trying to stay off X. Sidge increasingly shows me the fun stuff and then tells me it's awful at the same time, so I feel like I'm making the right call.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I got to show you something.
You see? Lost Greg 529. Thank you, Greg. You can get me on Cameo. There's a DM function. You can submit something for the next Q&A. And I like this question because I like the idea that you can still hope against hope that you might get what you want from big WWE shows in terms of where they are after this New Orleans catastrophe this year. With the talk of the Rumble going 2 nights, thoughts on 2-night shows splitting venues /cities/countries. So this is from after the Rumble, obviously. So the example Greg's used is night 1 Mania in Saudi, night 2 Mania in Vegas. 1 Rumble in the UK, the other in Dallas. Split crews, they've got the money, why not try?
You know what? Can you remember, right, the report, and it's months ago now, I'll not even begin to remember if it was Observer Fightful or if it was debunked or what. This has just popped into my head when you asked that question, of them potentially doing a second WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I know they're doing it next year. Why is it called WrestleMania Vegas? The existence of WrestleMania Vegas implies the existence of WrestleMania suffix. We're going to do it somewhere else, but like in June. I don't think they're going to do that.
Differentiation from 41, I would guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Vince had his thing where he hated the ages for a bit because it was older than 30.
I don't know, but like I can...
It's not...
Nothing's off the table now.
No, this is it, isn't it?
Off the table. There's
2 sites fees instead of 1.
Yeah, I know.
And you send... The only thing is, I think, is that WWE would struggle. They're bad at this, weirdly. They would struggle.
They're bad at a lot of things. There's nothing weird about it, mate.
This is it's weird that they're bad at this. Committing one roster long in advance to be in your town while the other roster is in the other town. I don't think they've got the creative juices, organizational, whatever, to book it. I think like last minute, like, oh God, we need Punk for Anaheim, but he's busy in London.
Yeah.
They're bad at that. Mm-hmm. Like historically, they're pretty rubbish at that. Like they've got to decide in January, nailed on Rumble cards in order to sell those Rumble cards and tell you exactly who you're getting at your big one-night stadium show. Yeah. I know Jericho flew about sometimes for like the Penta reveal at All In. He got on Tony Khan's like private jet and stuff. I know there's ways, but they're kind of rubbish at like.
Yeah. As I said, like there are sponsors on the mat. There is no Vince McMahon. CM Punk came back. WrestleMania's in Saudi Arabia. Literally nothing's off the table anymore. I understand where the anxiety that might have informed this question of you don't want it to be in Saudi every year, so maybe they could do it in Saudi and then whatever. At the minute, there is talk, and I know this is a Newcastle United fan, that the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, is depleting.
Really?
Running low on cash. Apparently, there was a really good article. I can't remember that it was one of the English broadsheets, not tabloids, broadsheets.
Yeah.
Maybe it was I think it was the Guardian, and it was they've just committed to making these absolutely enormous, pointless vanity things that signify nothing more than look at how rich we are, like an upside down train, something like that.
Yeah.
Like half built and just neglected. People just
missed the point. Right.
People are like delivering projects on the scale of like an upside down skyscraper that is suspended in the air, just for the sake of we can do this, nobody else can, and then just not telling the Crown Prince. Like the unread email is an upside down skyscraper. I will dig out this article. It's incredible.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Because it pertained to like Newcastle and like, oh, why is there no new training ground, let alone a new stadium? It's like, oh, because the people say the money's running low.
Right.
So maybe the Saudi WWE thing, I mean, it's compared to an upside down skyscraper, running a Fed show and paying for it ain't that much money. But, maybe there is an end in sight to it because the money's not going to, last forever over there. But
the
anyway.
Two-night Rumble in different cities or countries would be badass. The women's rumble in one, the men's rumble in another.
Would they? I'm not being a dick. I'm not trying to be misogynist. I'm saying they can be. If you look at what finally drove them to do Evolution 2, counter-programming, do you think they would trust it to draw? Because I don't.
Maybe
It
not,
would look
no.
bad optics-wise, because they want you to think they're so, like, progressive with the women's wrestling. If they do one in, like, friggin', the stadium, and the other one in the Hartford Civic Centre or whatever, it's going to look bad. Last question comes from Kev Candy. Very sweet. I don't know, man. My brain's gone wrong. For AEW, sorry, Michael Hamflett. No, he loves them.
Like AEW.
Who do you think have been the MVP signings out of the ring? For me, Renee Paquette and the music of Mikey Ruckus were both major legends. Renee is weird. She's excellent at what she does. I do think she can lean into the cutesy vibe of AEW too much. It doesn't really feel like, I understand, like, you can't be too nostalgic and rose-tinted. Mean Gene Okerlund danced around with the gobbledygook, but he was very good at going, hey, hang on, you are being a dickhead there, sir, heel. Stop it, whatever. She leans just almost too nice and quote-unquote adorable, Renee, because sometimes Renee is too good and likable, which feeds into the things about AEW that I don't like very much. But she is excellent at what she does when she has to do serious business as well. Mikey Ruckus has been a revelation. Like, the fact that he has made themes as iconic as the licensed themes that have got this legacy before AEW paid for them is quite incredible. A thing for him to have on his track record as a composer. For me, it has to be Schiavone. I can get it's a Tope Suicida, Tony. We know this by now. When he loves it, he still has that, Jesus Christ, it's great, this. Much better than WCW, this. 7 years later, he's still like, they would completely blast you in the ass on Nitro, not deliver this match. They'd find a way to screw you out of it, and like, they were totally incompetent. I'm into the story. I'm Tony Schiavone.
18 years.
I know.
1-8.
That's a joke.
That's like, they've done the Men in Black memory thing on that with this AEW run, that he was more gone than 90% of his peers would have been from that period of time.
And the best thing,
that is insane. 2 decades.
It's insane. And the best thing is, as well, is because he was away for that long, and because he's got that 80s face, he's so baby face when you go back, but to you, he's got a mustache at times or whatever, and he's just this like middle-aged man, because you watch him as a kid, he's a middle-aged man. He was in it so early that I'd never thought he'd be able to have a run like this, because I just thought he was going to be, I thought he was like 80 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you'd put him there with Mean Gene, wouldn't you? I mean, like, well, they're the same.
Yeah, the old guys.
They're the same.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely my ignorance and stupidity informing this. Tony Schiavone is, and I think Jim Ross, he shouldn't be such a sexist, and apparently there's another ist as well. Jesus Christ, what's going on there? Tony Schiavone is everything that AEW wanted Jim Ross to be when they thought they were getting Jim Ross, and not this guy who was like outwardly saying the booking is bad on telly, just rolling his eyes at the referees, either not getting the brief or not failing to just register the brief of to be like ECW Jim that can kind of do what they want.
I love how Dex takes that buckle. Excuse you?
What? So Jim Ross, I wouldn't say it was a disaster, but anyone who listened to him in New Japan knew how it was going to go, and it kind of went like that. Tony Schiavone was the guy, that beautiful voice, that seniority of like, Christ, I've got the he hasn't got the same gravitas, Tony. He just doesn't. That's a different, he's got more like the wonderment, the inner child, the perfect antidote to the grifter going, oh God, it's crap, all this new stuff. He was wonderful for that. So charming at times, so funny, so earnest. I've loved Tony Schiavone over the past 7 years. It's him without a doubt because he's the voice of it. He's on it more often than a lot of others. Ruckus I get. Renee, not so much for me. I'm similar with RJ City as well. I like him. I don't love him as much as some people. But it's Tony or, Ruckus is a good shout as well. Tony Schiavone for me.
I think Renee was a big get in the sense that she was, if you think about how credible she made everything initially, I can like reward that while waving away some of the stuff where she's kind of settled in. I think AEW's that tone that has got to her more than she's allowed it in. If you know what I mean.
No.
I was trying to think of like people who had their peaks as well, because sometimes it's like a shorter peak, but if you consider what he offered for about 2 years solid in the several hats he wore, I would say Taz would be up there.
Yeah,
he wasn't with AEW from the start.
No,
and he feels like he was. To see him now, you'd miss the universe of AEW without Taz in it. But when he was firing, it wasn't just how good a commentator he was; it was Team Taz.
Team Taz was so awesome, man.
Like
I miss the energy of a team.
Yeah.
Do you think Team Taz would exist in this AEW? Felt a bit nasty when they were about.
Yeah, but they were like, they were so much more fun than like the Death Riders of BCC ever were, as nasty heels and stuff. Yeah. Like there's a Don Callis family element. There's Team Taz element to the Don Callis family, but it's a different kind because Taz had this totally different vibe to Don Callis.
He's got this like Aggie energy.
Yeah, I'm picturing him doing his Taz pose in front of them all.
Yeah. Might never have
Starks and Hobbs and Cage and that, and there's Taz doing that. Like it was him for me, and then how he transitioned into commentary. Like for a long time, Taz has offered significant value. I think Micah Ruckus is a great shout.
Yeah,
a bit of a find in this era, really, when we're looking at the alternatives.
Yeah, absolutely. Goddamn-lutely. Anyway, let us know if you want to get involved in subsequent editions of this ad hoc podcast. Unfortunately, you have to wade through the muck of X. That is how we solicit the questions. You can follow us to submit them at WhatCulture WWE or at Sidgwick. You can't follow him on Twitter because he made the sensible decision to remove himself from it. However, you can contact him via...
I'm on email at hamflettx@gmail.com, or again, like if you want to do what Greg did, get in the DMs on Cameo and leave us a question in Cameo Corner. Why? For
they're all corners.
Yeah.
There have to be corners.
The next time we do one of these.
Indeed. When are we releasing this?
This will be the weekend. It'll be on audio and video probably around Saturday.
If you've said, oh God, I've got to save SmackDown for the night time or for Sunday, I can't watch it on Saturday morning, but I'd love to get people's thoughts on it. Well, you're out of luck because it gets very self-indulgent on the SmackDown preview. You won't even get the show covered at all, really. But if you want to hear some nonsense about British TV and biscuits, you can listen to the SmackDown preview.
It's a good one.
It's excellent. We'll be back next week for the usual coverage. I'm regrettably not here on Tuesday nor Wednesday. But all going well, I'll be back on Thursday. I am in on Monday, so I'll tell you how bad Raw's going to be. I will not be here to prove it. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's when I'm off with the weans. Otherwise, normal service is going to resume. And if you're thinking, oh, God, I need more Dudley Boys podcasts, but I've already listened to them, do it again.
Delete them, re-download them. That pops the number.
Like, what if it's like, it's like all the clues and like Pink Floyd records and David Lynch films, and like it's probably better second time around, if anything.
Catch more stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Anyway, please do that. And please also have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you to Hamflett for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. And we will see you soon.